All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Zealots, Zergans, and Marines, we've got ourselves a match here between the second seed of the entire tournament, Onside Gaming's MARU, one of the favorites to take it out, and the runner-up from the last PiGFest. He's out to get that title under his belt. He's up against Nightmare in the bottom left. One of the underdogs, one of our qualifiers to the tournament, did manage to burn a hole through that qualifier bracket. Just got right through there, and he's been looking quite good. He is playing for Maturino, of course. Love to see them supporting StarCraft players, teammates with Estrella. Nightmare, famous for his Blink Dark Templar Charge Zealot all-in PvT way back on the Dream Pool, I believe it was, when Overgrowth was back in. And Blinking Dark Templar behind an enemy's bio army so they couldn't retreat, catching them with their pants down and doing amazingly well. In the past, I've been a little critical of Nightmare for not probing that much in this matchup, but I do think his mid-game aggression and control is exceptional. So if he can get a good start, he's one of these Protoss players that is very scary with Storm, with Zealot, Stalker, Storm sort of armies, and his timing attacks are vicious. He can really run over you. He's already checked everywhere for proxies, and upon not finding one, it's just going to continue onwards. Now, MARU, you can see, is going for a double gas opening. He pulls off a few of those workers from gas, getting prepared to go for that early command center. He's going to see the Nexus on time, and I believe he will just turn around there. No, he's going to go for the bunker, and Nightmare's going to be happy he invested in that Zealot. This has become pretty much standard right now, because the Terrans are so regularly going for this bunker. He's going to shut that down. Well worth that Zealot getting that cancel. And of course, the Zealot's a useful unit later in the game as well. Not to mention, if MARU piles on some aggression, having a Zealot there to stop those units, tank a little bit, is very useful. Are these twins? Which one is MARU? I love having casual fans tune in. Nightmare on the right with the blue border, MARU on the left in the red. MARU is, I guess, I don't know. I'm so familiar with MARU's face at this point. I'm like, he looks so distinctive to me, but I mean, I've known him since he was a young boy, so I guess that's probably not a fair comparison. But I'm like, MARU, it's MARU. He's so distinctive. I think I've just cast too many MARU games. I've stared at his face. Kind of like, there's so many times I've been casting a tournament and I've gone, my god, he wins a big fight from behind, an incredible comeback. No one in the world could have done this except MARU. And I turn and I look at the feed of his face, expecting to see like excitement or something, and he's just like completely blank, and then he'll yawn. He'll like yawn at the end of like the most amazing adrenaline pumping comeback that anyone's ever done. And I think that's the secret to how he makes the comebacks, is he just plays like he normally does. He's just like, yeah, I don't know, just play good defensive StarCraft, do everything correctly. Like, are you not stressed? How do you look so organized and calm in these situations? More recently, he has been showing a bit more emotion, I think. It's almost like he came out of his shell a little bit after, funnily enough, losing the World Championship Finals earlier this year in a big upset. Widowmine, 6 Marines going forwards across the map. Command center on the high ground. Now, he did see the Twilight Council. There is no Robo for Nightmare. And that's very dangerous because MARU's going Cloaked Banshees. That's been gaining popularity recently. I do like the no Robo build. And if he takes it after the third, it should still be ready for Cloak. But for now, look at this. Zealot not quite able to spot this. Neither is the Adept. That means there's 2 Gateway units not at home. They're all at the natural. This Widowmine Marine drop is going to get a lot of mining time. Nightmare needs to pull these workers right now. Nightmare is, of course, a massive underdog in this match, guys. It's not really about, you know, hyping you up and saying, oh, he could totally beat MARU. He can. Anyone can beat anyone in a game of StarCraft, but Nightmare needs to play a very clean game. He can't be making any mistakes, and how he sets the pace at the start of the series is very important. Oh, the Stalker. Oh, he blinks back the Stalker on 3 life, guys. He lost 1 probe. He just lost 1 probe for that whole drop. Now, don't get me wrong, he lost mining time. It's not free. That fight went on for a good 30 seconds or so. But cost for cost, that was pretty damn crisp. Like, that was actually delicious. For those who don't know, the head-to-head historically between these guys, MARU is 10-0 in series, 20 map wins, and 2 map losses to Nightmare. A 10-1 in maps and 100% in series is obviously nothing to scoff at. That's an absolutely disgusting win rate. But he had 93%, I think it was, versus Gumiho in series going into Sweden earlier this year. Gumiho beat him in Sweden, beat him in GSL as well. And dreams can come true. It's pretty rare. That Robo, though, is so bloody late. No shield battery in either base. And this Banshee is almost, it's a checkmate sheet, you know? it's not checkmate, but it's going to get a massive amount of damage. It's going to break up Nightmare's entire pawn structure. Observer starts there. Shield battery trying to build in the main. He does quickly send the probes back to mine. These guys have to run. You cannot stand in this. Observer's only a few seconds away, but I really think he should have ran here. The Banshee has still got 7 energy. It's going to get 8 kills, tons of mining time. Observer is now out. And where is the second Banshee? It's actually on the front. I thought he'd be able to hit with another one, because it's really cool. If the first Observer comes out, but then another Banshee arrives at the third, and then one in the natural, you can definitely find even more damage. Now, this did cost a lot for Maru. Remember, he lost his first drop for almost nothing. And he actually builds a third Banshee as well. Oh, very cute. Finds the one base with no shield battery on it. Nightmare paying a big tax for that. Bit of an oversight. He's going to lose another 3 or 4 probes here. Actually, Maru playing it exceptionally safe. And when he sees that shield battery, he should get back to the dead space. Actually, he's going to join up with the push. The Marine Tank Banshee arriving. He's shoving. I thought this was a fake push at first, but he's actually committing. Maru going for broke right now. Zealots with Charger, amazing against this. Unfortunately, there was only one Zealot alive. Man, the Immortal is cleaning the tanks, though. Nightmare is kind of taking a pretty good fight. He's going to lose the Immortal, though. And if he can get rid of the tank, it might be worth it. Don't want to lose all these Stalkers, though. Does almost get the Banshee, but not quite. He definitely wants to warp in units and chase this army down. If Nightmare can do that, I can imagine this going okay. Maru is shoving into him aggressively. Don't forget, Maru actually, yeah, he actually just plays crazy aggressive recently in this matchup. Like, not even in this matchup, any big tournament, he just starts incredibly aggressive. It feels like Maru kind of plays like Beyond recently. And this is why I've asked him a few times in interviews, you know, Beyond claims credit for influencing you and giving you his builds and stuff, and that he comes up with all your builds and he should deserve the credit for your victories. Obviously tongue-in-cheek since they are friends. And whenever I ask him, Maru's just like, yeah, Beyond's a really good player and I really respect him. And I'm like, mate, like I know Beyond is teasing you when he says this. You know, Maru just, he's like, oh yeah, he's a really great player. I always learn a lot from Beyond's builds. And I'm like, come on, man. Dish the trash talk back. He did it in one of the GSL interviews. They got him to kind of be like, Beyond's lying. He's making it up. No, he learns more from me than me from him. But anyways, Observer's going to see the army coming forward. That's pretty scary. Bio, Stim, +1 combat shields, concussive, all on the way. Banshee's trying to come around the backside as well. Okay, that's a problem for Nightmare. Observer sees it, but where are your Stalkers? They're coming from the left. 4 units do go down already. Trying to take a 4th on the left, as well as a single Disruptor on the way. There's just not enough numbers to overwhelm that Bio Ball, especially not with the clutch SCV pull timing. Maru knows he's ahead, and he is not going to give Nightmare room to get back in this game. A crisp 5 racks, 2 base all in. And those Banshees just finding the Robo being too late. Nightmare took a gamble on his opening. I think it was a really smart gamble against a player like Maru, skipping the Robo, trying to get away without detection. Unfortunately for him, there's 2 builds that counter it. One is Cloak Banshees, one is Armory Widow Mines. Maru did the Banshee build, and it got a big counter off. Nightmare with a great opening, but he simply took a gamble, and he did pay the price. Flips a coin, and it, unfortunately for Nightmare, comes up in Maru's favor. All right, guys, going into game 2, Maru looking so rock solid in game 1. The Banshee did kind of just find a build order window, and there's nothing to take anything away from Maru. It's just a cool thing. Nightmare is doing a Mecha Gateway. This is so cool. So the idea is when the SCV scouts, Maru's going to freak out thinking he's being proxied, and then he's going to have a panic attack. Problem is, if Maru doesn't SCV scout, and he goes like Marine first, just a blind opening, Nightmare is going to have built a gateway here for literally no reason, and that's going to be very annoying. Actually, is he going to build a Nexus there? He could build a Nexus there at the 3rd. But yeah, this is all about giving misinformation to the opponent. Nightmare is gambling, and I love it. Gambling is what you should do when you're playing a player who's stronger than you. The dice did not fall, you know, didn't land in his favor. He rolled Snake Eyes in the last game. Ah, it sucks. But that's okay. Gonna go Cybercore there. Cybercore does block a lot of the mining. This patch still mines okay, as does... Actually, it's just this one patch that can't really mine there. It's not the end of the world. 3rd base, or natural, sorry, does go up at a pretty normal time. And yeah, unfortunately, guys, it's Marine first, no scout. Maru is literally so lucky in this series. And he's already the favorite to get the advantaged opening 2 games in a row. This is such a bummer for Nightmare. Nightmare's playing very clever StarCraft. He's like, haha, I'll show him this and I'll show him this. He just spent all day planning a goddamn scenic painting for Maru to look at. and MARU came in with a blindfold. His only scout is a Marine looking for proxies right next to his base. So Nightmare's just messed up his base placement to get a reaction that is not going to happen. And MARU's just playing that Marine quick factory reactor. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That is. It's like, it's one of these things where it's such a cool build Nightmare's doing. You're like, this is where it does badly. That last game, as long as he doesn't go cloak or you know, the invisible widow mines will be right. Oh, he went cloak. Well, that sucks. But in this case, it's not as big of a commitment. It's not as big of a commitment. I still think you can play a normal build from here. Obviously, your buildings are in a bit of a weird placement. It doesn't cost you all that much. He sees the Hellion production coming out doubled. And MARU cancels a Hellion to start an orbital. That's interesting. So MARU, now he rebuilds the Hellion. So he's really focused just on economy. It's like prioritize the economy. He'll try to send the SCV back to mining out of that bunker now as well. MARU rallying to his natural. Are we going to see an early Raven or Banshee? I doubt it'd be a Banshee 2 games in a row. That would be kind of crazy. You'd have to be insane to do that. You'd have to be insane to do that. You'd have to be insane to do that. Okay, it is a Raven. I'm like, no way, man. No way. No way. Raven it indeed is. He's forgotten about the SCV, guys. Gary's on Smoko in the bunker. So the yellow hit point SCV, he hit in the bunker and he's forgotten about it. Uncharacteristic mistake for MARU. We'll see if it matters later on. If this is a very close game, those minerals could add up. Hellions see a pylon there. Don't know if he's gonna spot that gateway in Cybercore. Oh, okay. The Adepts just ran to the high ground expecting Reapers to jump in, but ooh, good micro by Nightmare. Oh, that last shot. It was like so close to perfect. The shield battery was about to finish and it was going to be only a single probe kill. And then he gets that line up at the end and gets 3 probes. It's not the end of the day. 4 probes for 2 Hellions. But Nightmare, definitely his probing has not been consistent, actually. He's only at 34 probes at 4 minutes 20. Yes, his opening was a little delayed. But there's something I always point out about Nightmare is he always has gaps in his probe production. He's more of an aggressive timing-oriented player. So the longer the game goes, the more chances there are of MARU getting further ahead in economy. And you can already see MARU's up in workers. So definitely Nightmare's probing is a little lower than we'd like it to be. There is 2 gateways. And Robo coming up now as well as the 4 gas. I expect a Robo Bay here. It looks like a kind of 2-base Blink Colossus. Okay, tanks and Marines hanging out. Raven is there. Adept Shades are going to see. Most of the units are stationed at home at least. That's something that's good for Nightmare. And that Robo Bay will go down in just a moment. Charge before Robo Bay. Okay, this is interesting. No Forge. No Robo Bay. And he's going to start building extra gateways. Interesting. 8 Stalkers, 3 Adepts coming out. Going up to 4 gateways is Nightmare. Nightmare does like to play that kind of heavy gateway style. He's going to go Templar Archives before 3rd base. All right. Looks like he will try to play Storm this game. No sign of a 3rd command center for MARU, but it's still early days. It's only 5 minutes 40. MARU's opening has been super efficient, guys. It's pre 6 minutes, and he's already almost got Stim Shields +1, a pack of Bio, and his first 2 Medevacs are about to pop. Adept does finish the Shade. These 2 Adepts might get caught out here. Careful, Nightmare. Stalkers come forward to save them. 4 more gates coming up, so it's going to be 6 gate. Do we see Storm, or is it just Zealot Archon? Templar Archives is finished. Let's find out. Nightmare's got the gas to start Storm if he wants to. Stalker's picking off a single Marine there. Oh, Nightmare's... Oh, he's going to go for the Blink in the main. A little bit of a risky move. Oh, he goes for the full dropship. He gets it. He does get a dropship with 3/4 full. The Raven comes in after this. The Stalkers take out a Raven, but he just lost 5 Stalkers. Is that worth it? He's going to do a quick recall, but he loses another one. Units lost are very good for MARU there. That was a crazy high-risk move there for Nightmare. And he's got an Adept out here in the middle. He's lost all of his Stalkers. All he's got is a few Zealots. He's making a few Archons right now, trying to make a 3rd base. Defending that is definitely going to be a long shot. Remember, only 6 gates here, up against 3 barracks, so neither of them has full 2-base production, but MARU is just sending it. Every single unit going forwards across this map. Zealot, Stalker, Archon going to come forward. Oh, that Widow Mine barely doesn't get focused down. That Widow Mine there is going to get a shot on another Zealot, but the Archons do not have a lot of support. He needs a few more Zealots here. That Archon on the right getting focused down by MARU. looking really good, especially if he can borrow those Widow Mines and pull back to them. He will be able to win this fight. Third command's in a stance on location for MARU. He's got +1 armor on the way as well as concussive shells. His army is still looking large and in charge. And Nightmare is trying to find a way he can hang on. The siege tank will go down. Widow Mines take out a few of these zealots. Archon trying to drop there. Warp Prism Micro to try and dodge the Widow Mines. Doesn't quite get it though, and a couple Stalkers do fall. Nightmare microing pretty well in these small skirmishes, but with only equal workers and being down in workers in the early game, it's that unfortunate scenario where if you don't have Storm or Colossus, there is no way to get back against a Terran when they are on equal workers with you. And with the third base finishing at similar times, that's very nasty for Protoss. MARU is the greatest Terran of all time. He really is. I don't think there's any dispute about that. He is one of the greatest players of all time. And oh, full Zealot drop flies into a Widow Mine. It just barely didn't have enough shields regenerated to survive that. And that's a real bummer. Obviously, you can see Nightmare kind of head kind of, I don't know if he was just looking at the minimap or just shaking from side to side a little bit, but he did look at just, as you would expect, a little bit like, okay, I can hear the last nail in the coffin of this game. This has been just a very rough series for Nightmare, where the build orders have not gone in his favor. And when you're playing against the greatest Terran of all time, it's so hard when he gets a little bit of luck on top of his intense skill. It becomes a big old fat stack of pancakes. Very, very hard to deal with, man. Drenched in beautiful, beautiful Terran macro behind it. Double eBay armory on the way. Ghosts coming out. I mean, double upgrades will be coming behind this. He's got the medevac mobility. Very little map vision for Nightmare. He's made a few Desperation Sentries, trying to remake that Prism as well. A couple Zealots going to go for a bit of a backstab, trying to get a little run by. I'm thinking about comeback mechanics for Protoss. How do you get back in here? +1, Robo Bay. Disruptors are usually it. Well-executed Zealot run-bys are very good, but the trick is you can't throw the Zealots away. You've got to kind of like get in, get some unit kills, get out. He's got to exert pressure with a minimum force. He focuses down a medevac. Unfortunately, it wasn't the loaded medevac, but I do like that force field on the ramp. Nightmare with a very slick move, catches the rally with the Zealots as well. Same time, another force field on the front. Maru's hot pickups looking pretty slick though. Zealots do get EMP'd. Ghost is going to make it to the bunker though, and you can see that Ghost does pretty alright versus those Zealots. Widow Mines do get some decent hits there, but the Observer allowing Nightmare to clean it up. Nightmare's fighting pretty darn well. The Ghost does clean up those 4 Zealots though. Remember I said is he can't afford to lose those. You need to kind of go in, pull out, keep them alive. It's all about keeping units alive and finding extra value over time. And now with EMP on the field, oh man, the Archon's got slaughtered there. Medevac picks up, pulls back some bio. Force fields unable to staunch the flow. That's a heavy set Terran with a very, very heavy flow. And it's going to be hard. That's oh, you know, to be fair, right now, that Terran army does look kind of small. But it's the rally, it's the Widow Mines, and it's the ability to run in and then just pull back whenever he needs to. You can't close on it. Protoss is not landing hits. Terran is. The EMP is absolutely deadly. And MARU is all over it. He's got a 4th building behind this. 2-2 is on the way. All of the late game progression is there. But he says, I don't even need to wait for that. I can get it done right here, right now. And Nightmare getting very unlucky. MARU, he's got a little bit of luck on top of being the greatest Terran of all time, and he's looking exceptional in this series. All right. It's time to finish this series off 3-0. If you're a MARU fan, he's got a gas first expand on the way. I like that Nightmare's just going to probe harass him. He's going to see that this is a gas first opening, gets to force the barracks to be a little further back than normal. Going for a gas and gateway, and a chrono behind it. I'm cheering for Nightmare 100% at this point. Sometimes people get angry at me, especially when I cheer against MARU. Not really, to be fair, no, it's not really MARU. It's just whenever I cheer for the underdog, people get very annoyed at me for being biased. They say, commentators shouldn't be biased. No. And my answer to that's always the same. This is my channel, and I pretty much always have it. I like cheering for underdogs, and I'll do it. And they go, well, but that's not what commentary is supposed to be. And I go, well, maybe you guys, that's fine. No worries. Next time I work for ESPN, I'll probably have to do something like that. But otherwise, I'll be as biased as I want to. I'm not gonna lie about what I see in front of me. I will try to not tell you a false storyline. I will try to not tunnel vision on one aspect of the game too hard. But I will absolutely be cheering for Nightmare and focusing a little bit more on what he can do to win this game, because he's a massive underdog here. And if he can take even 1 or 2 maps versus MARU, I think that in of itself is a great achievement. If he could turn this around and reversal versus MARU, that would be insane. That would be so freaking hard, and I would love to see it. Now, MARU's gone for a gas first, Barracks into factory. He's going to Reaper there. Command center on the high ground. He doesn't have a wall off. Against this build, when the barracks isn't in the wall off, it can actually be worth chronoing Adepts across the map to try and get damage done. But notice, he's actually gone Cybercore before Nexus into Stalker. Now, I would argue, if you know they're going gas first, you should always go Nexus before Cybercore. The reason is that Reaper is later than normal. He almost always hangs around to look for proxies because they have no other units early with this build. They're very vulnerable. So I always feel that getting up the Nexus as quickly as possible takes precedence. The exception is if you're planning to pressure with these units right at the start, which Nightmare isn't. So I do think Nightmare's missed a bit of an opportunity there. He is scouting for proxies and sending another probe across. Not the most economic build, and he's up against a 3 command center from MARU. MARU playing very greedy. His Reaper just barely escapes the 2 Stalkers. Now, there's no tech for him to have scouted. Twilight Council will go down, not a particularly fast one. Nightmare runs up the ramp, sees the command center. I'd like him to hide this probe and get it out of there. I don't think there's any reason to keep this probe on the front. And actually, he's going to show that to him, is he? Ooh, he stops just outside of vision. So I really want to see Nightmare chronoing workers. He knows that there's an expand on the way and really just hit that economy non-stop. Once he gets to the mid-game, I think he can absolutely play a decent fight versus MARU. He's just been behind 2 games in a row. Losing 2 probes this early, as well as sending a probe across at the very start for harassment, does give MARU a slight lead in that regard. But because MARU's gone for a fast tech build, and he's even gone for a Cyclone here, I do feel tech-wise, it's absolutely okay for Nightmare. Nightmare chrono boosting Blink right now. He's got that second gateway on the way. And goes for the Robo. This would actually be the perfect game to go for that quick third base. But of course, he doesn't know that. Only we do. And that's why MARU plays these 3 command center builds. Mixes them in so that Protoss does not know what's coming. Stalker is just to the left there. Good pullback on that probe. No chance of MARU getting a snipe there. Got a lot of unfollows and unsubs. Absolutely serious ones there. And like, no, I demand biased commentary. Both of these players definitely measuring up. They are both exactly 6 inches in girth. That's right, not length, not length, but girth. They are both equally matched, and it will be a perfectly fair match. No, honestly, 4-gate Blink coming out for Nightmare. This is a great map for it. It can be very good at taking advantage of a 3rd command center build, especially because he's not building any tanks. But the Reaper sees no 3rd, and if at like 4 minutes 40 there's no 3rd, it's almost always 4-gate Blink, right? So I definitely feel like MARU is going to need to build a bunker up here on the high ground and non-stop build Marauders right now. He just canceled a Marine to make a Marauder. He is aware of this, guys. He sees the 2 gateways at the front. He should know that this is 4-gate Blink. He loses the Reaper, but like Marauders, he needs non-stop Marauders. And he's building, yeah, 2nd bunker on the natural. So he's going to have 2 bunkers on the natural. And he's just going to try and build non-stop Marauders, which is so important for defending 4-gate Blink if you do not have siege tanks. So we'll keep an eye on it. MARU's aware of what's happening. But oh my gosh, he's got to keep that Marauder production up. Every second he misses is vital. Medevacs are started. Stim is almost here. He doesn't even have the money to start combat shields. MARU is just like build Marauders, build Medevacs. He's actually missing another Marauder right now. And Marines. MARU, he cannot be making these macro mistakes. He's focusing on SCVs and combat shields. He's leaving himself open. This could be an opportunity for Nightmare. He catches a greedy 3rd command center build, no siege tanks. He does unsiege the Warp Prism there. A very conservative micro by Nightmare, but that is kind of the right way to do it versus a player who's got Marauders, right? Stim was not ready, so maybe Nightmare could have pushed a little harder there. Nightmare is going for the Robo Bay behind it. I'd love to see him secure a 3rd base as well. Looks like an SCV going across the map to try and scout when that happens. And Nightmare's going to go for a Zealot drop into that main base. Stalkers will blink back up there, but the problem is if he stims on you when your blink's on cooldown, you could end up in big trouble. Zealot drop goes towards the main base. The command center. Whoa, the command center, guys! The command center is getting very low! Nightmare goes for the crazy snipe on it, loses a Stalker for it. Does get a bit of lost mining time with the Zealots as well. He's going to try and drop there in the natural. He's got to be careful. There's a Cyclone out, and a Cyclone is a very good anti-Warp Prism unit. He does save all 4 Zealots, but the Cyclone's right on top of him. He stayed way too long. Nightmare too greedy. Pushes for too much damage there. It loses the fully loaded Prism. I mean, I guess technically unloaded 1 Zealot first of all, but that's such a bummer. I thought he was very efficient up to that point, but having committed so much to the aggression and traded worse, this puts MARU massively in the lead. He's going after the command center again, but then he changes his mind. A little indecisive from Nightmare. I mean, it's such a high pressure position playing against the god of TvP, MARU. the man that makes Hero look like a joke every now and then. Not every day, don't get me wrong. I love Hero. He's great as well. But like maybe 30% of the time, MARU cuts through Hero like a knife, a hot knife through butter. Like he just destroys Hero. He's such a scary player in this matchup. He's so hard to handle, and he's so instinctive with his SCV pulls. There is a Colossus out, which is great versus the SCV pull, but I don't know, man. Is one Colossus going to cut it? He desperately needs a second one. SCVs are coming in. There's only 7 Marauders. It's mostly Marines in this army. And the Sentry Warping could actually be absolutely slick. Good force fields to slow the advance here. Trying to pull these Zealots back as best he can. The Colossus. Oh, good force field on the right. But no, the Marines all get around it. That Colossus, though, could kill these Marines. Oh, my God. MARU shows zero respect. He runs at the Colossus in a ball of Marines and clicks on it. And this is the power of being up 2-0. MARU just feels no fear. He focuses down both Colossi. I actually think this could have been a hold for Nightmare if that first Colossus just stutter stepped and actually shot the Marines as it was stutter stepping a little bit more, whereas it was kind of stutter stepping back but not hitting the Marines. 1 or 2 volleys on those Marines may have managed to do a lot more there. Looking at the players' faces, I think Nightmare's like, hey, that was actually not a bad fight. He pulled a lot of SCVs, but I lost my Colossus, and that's a disaster, you know. You've got the extended thermal lance, you've got the big laser pills, but no laser to use them on, you know. A eunuch with a full jar of the Viags. Anyways, Widowmine drop coming in the main there. Couldn't resist that one. 2 Widowmines will burrow, and good blink micro. Nicely done by Nightmare. MARU's going to force a little bit of a base trade though. Backstabs there. Stalker Zealot starts to come in on that side. These Zealots going to skirmish over there. Stalkers do clean up the Widowmine drop in the main base. No big Probe losses going down. Stalker Zealot's going to come in. He's going to try and click on these SCVs in the command center. Third Nexus of Nightmare goes down. MARU's going to make it messy. MARU's so good in these scenarios, finding a way to make it into a decent spot. He's still got 3 command centers. If his 1-1 upgrades get denied, this might be okay for Nightmare. Nightmare's got a few sentries and a Colossus. MARU is going to drop on top. Probes being pulled in. The Colossus trying to stutter step away. He barely gets the Colossus out of range. MARU's going to go for it with the Marauder. It gets focused down. The Colossus survives. Oh, the Sentry's doing well. If these Stalkers can get on those medevacs, this could be big. This could be a big moment. He turns around and drops again. MARU has activated ultimate disrespect Chad mode. Nice force field for Nightmare. Watch out for the Widowmine. Oh, he pulls the probe away at the last second, but he's just killed the natural. Oh, he's finally realized the engineering bays are there. But remember what I said about 1-1? It's going to finish. 1-1 is completed in the midst of this. MARU getting away with murder because he kept him so distracted on the other side. That gets depowered again. That's the second time he's depowered the Robo, and that pylon is not placed correctly to power that Robo. It'll power the gateways, but not the Robo. It needed to be one space to the left, and Nightmare has not realized in the chaos. He thinks that Robo is being powered. No, he fixes it. He does notice. Nightmare is winning this game right now, though. He is still ahead, even after losing the Colossus. He has more stuff. He's got to watch out for Widowmines. He takes out a medevac. Does avoid any bad Widowmine shots for now. MARU only now floating his expansion back down to the natural. Nightmare really fighting very hard right now. I love the way Nightmare has adapted in this game. So many players would have been frustrated just at the cavalier attitude of MARU. The way he ran forward and just was like, ha, I'll kill your stuff now. Like that's kind of frustrating to deal with. This Widowmine's very clever. It has limited vision for MARU. If we look at his vision. But that also means, like, you're not going to see the tracking line. So when the army stands over it, you are going to get taken out. Dark Shrine, a very clever move here in this low economy scenario. Nightmare's been a little slow to retake the third base. I definitely want to see him keep hitting his probes and economy. I think he's winning the longer this game goes. But MARU's doing really tricky things. He's spreading Widowmines around. He's got an armory. He's got an armory single Widowmine drop on the left. Nightmare, though, has an observer. He sees it, and boosting into those Stalkers ain't going to go well there. Very nice, important cleanup there for Nightmare. He's only got one observer out. It's this one observer, and it sees everything. MARU should probably have an idea that that's there, because that drop got spotted moving out. Otherwise, why would the Nightmare's army be there? And yeah, he scans to deal with it. MARU was not born yesterday. He's smart. When a Protoss just happens to intercept your drop, it usually means an observer saw the drop earlier. Nightmare's making a forge. He's not probing right now. He did just build 7 more probes, but he's going for a Dark Templar. I'd like him to wait with the DTs until MARU moves out. MARU is bringing out his third command center now. Remember, he's got 3 orbitals. So as bad as the situation looked for MARU for a while, he's got Vikings to counter the Colossus. There's only 2 Colossus. Luckily, Nightmare swapping into Disruptors, which will not be countered by that. Stalker does clean up the Widowmine in the middle of the map. Dark Templar are running in right now. 1 in the third, 1 in the natural. There's a turret building. It feels like MARU has somehow realized. Has he realized? Okay, the Dark Templar goes into the main. 1 in the third. Yeah, he saw it. Dude, his eyes are so sharp. I think he just knows Nightmare so well. He says, hey, it's a scrappy game. Nightmare loves playing Dark Templar in scrappy games. SCVs. Oh, man, the +1 armor is so big here, guys. It's literally taken away the lethality of the Dark Templar. They're taking twice as many hits to kill an SCV because it's got +1 armor, and he does not have +1 attack. That 1-1 finishing is so absolutely vital in this game, and it may end up being a deciding factor. Dark Templar going in on the right side once again. The turret did finish, though, which means those Dark Templar are going to go down on the way in. Disruptors coming forward, trying to throw balls right now. Some people throw hands in the bar when drunk. Nightmare throws balls, and he does clip Maru's army. Getting a little bit of respect there. Very nicely done. He's going to have to stand and fight, though, I believe. Oh, good force fields. No, he doesn't. Zealot runs in. He says, I don't need to be invisible. I charge in the front door, kick in there, and tackle a guy while he's sitting on the couch. Your home is my home, mate. I am a very aggressive squatter. Does even kill a Marine before going down to that Marauder. Nightmare's got a good forward position. He's up 20 workers right now. He's got the tech. He's got the advantage. He's got to be careful to not overextend, though, because there's not much meat in this army. He's got a few Zealots trying to run in from the left side. Don't throw those away, Nightmare. No, no, no. No, Nightmare. Those Zealots, if they just get cornered on their own, those are free kills for MARU. MARU's going to catch at least a few of those. He's got to push in to take advantage of those Zealots going down. More Zealots running across the map. It's 7-gate Zealot. Second Robo, +1 on the way. Nightmare's economy is not that good. The Zealots are getting cleaned up on the left. Very efficient. But if he could take out some more units, that'll be great. Observer goes down. Widowmine kills a Stalker. Colossus taking damage from the turret. Nightmare is clearly antsy. He wants to finish this. Ants in his pants. Protoss wants to take down best Terran versus Protoss player in the world. Great zoning disruptor, but the Stalkers need to get rid of that Viking. And oh, he's going to try to recall, but he's going to lose his Colossus. Both Colossus go down. There was only 1 Viking left. That recall, perhaps a little unnecessary for Nightmare. He's still way ahead in terms of economy, but army is where he's struggling. Here comes MARU with a vicious counterattack. He's still got 5 medevacs out, 10 Marauders, 9 Marines, 4 Ghosts. 3 Disruptors are out for Nightmare. He's trying to make Archons. Not going to be the most helpful, most helpful unit in the game in this scenario. And the Zealot's going after the turret. Sorry, guys, I know I'm talking very fast. I'm just excited that Nightmare has fought his way back into such a messy game. MARU excels in the scrappy TvPs, but Nightmare's handling it pretty well. And not probing in this scenario, I think a lot of players would default to just building probes, and he's like, yeah, that's not the goal. I know I've just got to make army and survive. Oh, MARU turned around a bit too fast. He thought that ball was about to expire, but there's a little bit more torsion on that disruptor shot than he was expecting. Does end up giving him a bit of a whiplash in the eye socket. And these Zealots actually microing quite well as well. Nightmare. Oh, you got to get out of there, bro. Staying a bit too deep. He's going to start attacking the rocks there, and he will try to take out maybe... Oh, no. MARU saves even that single Marauder. God, MARU's a nasty boy. And look at this. Nightmare's like, okay, stay active, send a Dark Templar, and can't get in the natural because of that turret. But he does have +1, which means he'll one-hit SCVs for the rest of this game now, because he's gone from 45 to 50 damage in attack, and SCVs are quickly pulled away. MARU is on 17 workers. There's desperate spots in StarCraft, and then there's spots which are literally impossible to win from. If MARU hadn't bent the nature of reality and literally curved space-time and the goddamn reality vacuum around us so many times in the past, we would say this is unwinnable. But it's MARU, and he's made so many wins he didn't have any business having in the past, that there's still a part of me that thinks maybe he can basically crack his fingers, clap his hat, pull a bloody rabbit out of a hat, and make some magic happen. But apparently, no, that was even too far gone for MARU. Nightmare will not go down easily, and he manages to get a victory. Not going out with a 3-0. Well done, Nightmare. Let's keep it going. All right, guys, girls, ladies, gents, Zealots, Slings, Marines. We've got a series in our hands. Nightmare in the bottom right takes a map. And a little bit of info. Before that last game, there was a lot of banter in the chat. And I messaged Crank, oh, are they talking about anything important, anything exciting? And I actually didn't see his response. So before the last game, they were talking for like 2 pages while we had a little break. And basically, the whole discussion, according to Crank, was about where MARU's barracks would be placed. And funnily enough, Nightmare went straight across, found that it was a gas first into barracks in his main base. But another game here where Nightmare is looking everywhere for the barracks, doesn't find it. And MARU I think is basically like, look, Nightmare clearly is a bit paranoid about proxy barracks. So most of these games, I think every game so far, he's just built the barracks in his main base, and the probe scouting for Nightmare, it's almost excessive. Like he's losing a lot of mining time, you know? It's only one worker, it's not the end of the world, but it does slow down his build order. So it is definitely something that costs, and MARU finds the probe hiding there as well. Like MARU's got great sense for this early game, and I do think the value he's been getting by both not hiding barracks on the map, number one, and number two, finding the probe scouts and getting free kills is giving him a lot of value. Now you might wonder, well, why does Nightmare keep doing it? I think as an experienced player, I look at this and I know exactly what's happened. The last few times they've played, whether in practice or elsewhere, MARU has proxy racked the crap out of Nightmare. And after inflicting that trauma on your opponent, right? Once your opponent starts worrying about something, you get them scared of it, you start feinting that move. You start getting them to overreact, and you do the counters to the counter, right? So they're so ready for that proxy barracks, they're so afraid of it, and you're like, cool, I just built my barracks at home, and I just clean up probe scouts for free, and I don't even bother SCV scouting, because I know you're in a defensive and paranoid mindset. And the thing is, I'm looking at this and I'm like, hey, MARU is wide open to a 3-gate, right? In this sort of situation. Yeah, he's building Widow Mines they can kind of defend, but like, what if you get hit by a 3-gate at 3 minutes 40? The Widow Mines aren't gonna be doing that much, man. And he doesn't have any scouting to confirm what's going on. He has no idea what's going on. He did see a shield battery, which does tell him that it looks like Nightmare's being defensive. We've already seen a lot of reverse sweeps and a lot of series go into their final match in this tournament. It's been a blessed round of 16 so far, as well as round of 8. Reaper gets hunted down. Nightmare with a great catch there. This is the mass Widow Mine drop build. So if you guys are wondering, another medevac is going to start. There we go. So MARU is basically going to give Nightmare the skill tester. This is one of the hardest builds of all time to stop. It is going to be 4 Widow Mine drop into 4 Widow Mine drop into 4 Widow Mine drop. After that, he's going to drop another 4 Widow Mines and then another 4 Widow Mines. I have seen games where MARU does this for 6 minutes straight and ends up dropping 30 plus Widow Mines on his opponent. And if you screw up versus just 1 or 2 of those and take a big Widow Mine hit or 2, things will fall apart very quickly. Now, there is no armory. They're not invisible Widow Mines. It is quantity over quality right now. Stalkers are well positioned. They get 3. They don't quite get the 9th shot on that medevac. 1 shot shy of being able to shut that one down. He does need to sacrifice probes, though, to get back to mining. Blink is too far away. I don't think you can wait the 20 seconds for Blink to come in here. I think you got to sacrifice a probe, buddy. MARU is gonna, yeah, he's gonna get a few hits. A lot of mining time going down, so it's not a bad start. Because it's a 4 Widow Mine drop, Nightmare should realize there's a high chance of another wave coming in. But Nightmare has not warped in any more defensive units. Oh no, Nightmare's not ready for it, guys. He's lost 3 probes to the first wave, but the second wave's coming in. Oh god, the probes! No! Oh, great split at the last second from Nightmare, avoiding the worst of it. And he's cleaning it up pretty well. Oh, he gets that 1 Widow Mine survived in that first medevac. He shuts it down. He's going Robo-Bay. He's defended very well, but look, here come 2 more Widow Mines. Oh, but it's getting shut down. Nightmare's all over it. He's got an Observer as well. He kills both of those. Dude, he's shut it down. He shut down everything there. He only lost 6 probes in mining time. If Nightmare starts a 3rd base now, he's great. And look at that. The Stalkers get another medevac. 2 medevacs, 8 mines, a Reaper for 6 probes. Nightmare is looking sexy right now. I never was the biggest fan, personally, of that haircut, but right now that I'm just looking. I'm excited. I am aroused. Guys, this is one of the biggest one-sided matches according to like the prediction at the start. I think the Aligulac said 3% win chance for Nightmare in this series. But dude, he's got a great position now. He's got the 3rd base up. It's not like it's a massive lead. He's only up 5 workers, but definitely this has slowed down stim shields and everything else right there. And I'm feeling like MARU's now got some pressure on his shoulders. MARU feels like he's the favorite here. That undermined him a little bit when he played at the World Championship. He needs to make sure it doesn't affect him here. Now there's 2 Ravens there. That's a double Raven build for MARU. This is a tricky build. Really good for harassment as well as for shutting down Colossus. And it is Colossus play. Is he just going to spam interference matrices? Oh, this could play very well if Nightmare is not ready for it. Nightmare up at 50 probes right now versus the 44. He's got the 3rd base there as well. Starting to add more gateways. Of course, Blink is done. Charges on the way. No Forge just yet. That Observer looked like bait. I feel like it almost was purposely left just close enough that trying to get the Raven to chase it to drop an auto turret and the Stalkers blink and kill the Raven. It's only 4 Stalkers though. Bunker is there as well. I like the spread of units on the map here, making sure he doesn't get surprised by anything. Nightmare. He's even got a pylon on the very top, making sure no drops slip by. First Colossus is out. Second one's on the way. No sentries. I think sentries are really good against this sort of double Raven play because you can force field the army back and stop him from engaging until Interference Matrix wears off. But Interference Matrix is a pretty cracked spell, guys. It is very powerful. Ooh, Stalkers blink in. Grab 4 SCVs. Probably worth 1 Stalker. Yeah, I think that's worth 1 Stalker. If he lost a second one, it'd be a bit more questionable. Bio's trying to chase him down, but it looks like he does get out of there. And actually, that Stalker sees that Raven there. He blinks away. Should get away. Oh, Observer sees the army coming as well. Nightmare's got great vision. He's up to 7 gate charge. He skipped the Forge. So if MARU commits really hard to this, which he is, there's no third command center, guys. This is a 5 ranks. This is just a Raven bio all in that is banking on Interference Matrix doing the work. There's only 1 sentry for Guardian Shield. Oh, I feel like more sentries might be like the game-winning play. There is shield battery set up. Nightmare had a good start, but this is still a very fearsome timing. The sheer quantity of Interference Matrixes is shocking. And he's not going to have a lot of time mentally to really realize this is happening. I think he might now realize it's 2 Ravens, but Nightmare has not seen those double Ravens for more than a few seconds. He's going to go forward and try and engage this. Zealots do go forward. He cleans up a Widowmine or 2. He baits the stim, starts to pull back. Good first engagement for Nightmare. And MARU, he's trying to force the fight, but I actually think that was so good. And look, 3 more sentries warp in. He can force field at least a few times out here. He's going to try and bait another stim out. Oh, here we go. Oh, he dodged one of the matrixes, but only 1, and there's more left where that came from. Zealot Stalker trying to engage. Oh, it's a good fight for MARU. It's a very good fight. Another Interference Matrix goes down, and he's got another one in the bank. This is so gross. He's got so many matrixes. Those probes are just going to die. I love that recall. I was going to say recall the probes. Losing the Nexus is not the end of the world. MARU is on 2 base as well. The Colossus, 1 more Matrix goes down. He barely doesn't pick it up in time, unfortunately, for Nightmare. MARU with a scary all-in. Oh, but those Marauders are very damaged. If you can kill all these, this is really good for Nightmare. But if MARU just pulls back and heals, he is ahead here. Even without a third command center started, if he can get those Marauders home, he's ahead. Nightmare kind of has to chase him. But look at the spread. MARU's setting up an ambush. MARU's going to go for it right now. Another Matrix lands. Nightmare just not quite able to dodge any of these Matrixes. And it's really cost him. So unfortunate that he just wasn't able to block any of those Matrixes. If he dodged even 1 or 2 of those in any of those fights, that would have been a game changer. But every time he picked up the wrong Colossus or he was off by just a fraction of a second, Nightmare, if his hands were just a tiny bit faster, I think he's winning this game right now. But it's a really, really just single frame off on those drops, on those pickups to dodge it. He's still not out of this, but the supply advantage on the army is massive. And, I mean, he's baiting out stims and that sort of stuff. There's only 1 Raven left. Zealots are warping in. Nightmare needs to get a 3rd base up again. If he had a 3rd mining, I believe the 2 base production versus 2 base production, it's going to be really tough. I think he should probably keep building Colossus. Dude, that Colossus drop's kind of sick. MARU's saving Marauders with medevac pickups as well. He's like, I can warp Prism Micro too. My name's MARU. Man, I'm just so happy Nightmare's giving us some hype. It does feel like a rough spot to be in. Yeah, MARU is not all-inning. He's just like, okay, 3rd command center, add Vikings. And that should be the best play. And, oh, we can't lose these Zealots, man. All right, Nightmare's going to try to come up and defend this. But remember, it's +1 versus +1. Terran has a big old bio ball. The Colossus Micro has been exceptional. Battery overcharge does come in. Those Widow Mines in the back, though, they are going to force him back. MARU with such good just positioning here, denying the bases and slowly expanding. He's going to have so many SCVs he can transfer over there. You see they're already long distance mining. And Nightmare's desperately trying to go for a Zealot run by, but he got scouted. So Nightmare needs to run these guys home. Having been spotted by the scan, he turns them around. He says, okay, cool. You're going to go hunting for those Zealots. I'm obviously just going to send them to the north of the map or rejoin them with my army. He's got a 2nd Colossus building. And he's thinking about a 3rd base. His Nightmare. He hasn't been able to afford it. He's going to take it on the triangle. Oh, MARU splits the army up. He's like, yep, you're going to send the Zealots on the north now. Great instincts by MARU. And he just barely misses those Zealots. So killer instincts, but his timing was off by just a few seconds. A couple of Zealots are going to run into this little army, though. Otherwise, that will come in and get this 3rd base. Okay, this is going to be getting exciting. MARU is up only 10 army supply right now. It is better supply than the Zealot Stalker, but the couple Colossus can be game changers. There is 1 Raven out still. Remember that Raven does have 1 Interference Matrix banked up. 5 SCVs going down, so this is a good attack from Nightmare, but he's got to get these Zealots out of here now. And Nightmare's trying to pounce at the same time. Stalkers pick off a Marauder. Dude, Nightmare's playing a very impressive game of StarCraft. That supply, even just like extra mining with those probes that he kept alive, the recall on the probes is really keeping him in this because he's still got 52 workers versus 47. He's going to go for a Zealot drop in the main. His Observer's seeing where the army is very nicely. Ravens haven't caught it. The Zealot's down there. Clean up a Widow Mine. There's no armory in this game, which is very important. Armory is devastating in these sorts of games. Widow Mine does kill a Stalker, which is, of course, great for him. Maru's on 1-1, only +1 attack for Nightmare. Nightmare's third finally finishing. He'll have that up and mining in the near future. Starts at +2. He's got a third Colossus out. There is only 4 Vikings. And Maru does look like he's focused on a timing attack. He's got, he's going to wait for Ghosts, though, I think, before he commits to it. A lot of Zealots coming in the front right now. The Observer did see this army coming. Is that a Widow Mine drop? It's a Ghost drop. He's got a Ghost drop ready. He wants to drop Ghosts to get rid of the Sentry energy. 8 SCVs go down there. The Zealots are still in the main base. Force fields do go down. Pretty cool force fields, and there's more behind it. The Ghost drop's coming in on top. He does drop the EMPs, but not before an impressive wave of force fields go down. Nightmare with a really cool engagement. Maru trying to Ghost drop, but dude, that was fantastic execution by Nightmare. The Marauders jump on top of the Colossus. Maru doing some real chaotic micro there. To charge into the Colossus like that is the move of a madman. The Zealots in the third, Zealots in the main. Maru's economy is absolutely destroyed. Nightmare just absolutely crushed with force fields, guys. Where is the gif of the guy with the PlayStation controller doing the donut of the force fields with the storm in the middle? I could not agree more, Twitch chat. That is exactly what I was thinking of as well. That was badass. That was so cool. Nightmare getting us hyped. Maru still looks kind of impassive, but I think he's Maru's superpower is accepting wherever he is in the game, right? Without really getting upset about it. Usually just kind of goes, well, I messed that up. And he just plays the game from whatever situation he's in without staying in the past. I think a lot of players get kind of stuck in the previous minutes of the game. Now, that's a problem, though, guys. That's a parting of sentries right there. He's going to see that and be like, wait, what? Did you make 10 sentries, mate? Nightmare's like, yeah. You're so obsessed with trying to just jump on top of my Colossus. I just need a wall. I need a wall to keep out these dirty Terrans, man. They're trying to take our Colossus jobs. The Ghosts are getting some good EMPs. The Stalkers do blink forward, but only one of them falls. Battery overcharge would be nice to top up those Colossus. They're very damaged right now. I think it's worth overcharging even now. He's so damaged. Like, yeah, you got to overcharge right now, Nightmare. There's no reason to hang on to that overcharge. These units need to get healed, but he's saving it. He has a bigger army right now. He does overcharge to save the Colossus. The Stalker's trying to do it. Disruptor does throw a ball, and that's a kind of wasted stim, essentially. Zealots coming in from behind, but they came in a bit too early. Looks like Nightmare may have accidentally F2'd that. Nightmare is up 10 army supply. He's got his +2 done. He's got a second Robo on the way, and his 4th base is now finished. He is up 26 workers in this game. More EMPs come in. The sentries ain't looking as good as they were a few minutes ago by any means, but there's Colossus Disruptor and an army supply advantage, and the Disruptor shot goes for, gets a bunch of those Marauders. The sentries are tanking units right now in this fight. The Stalkers are taking out the Vikings. One Colossus still stands. The Colossus, oh, it gets clipped by the Marauders. Maru might actually have enough to do this. Disruptor shot comes from behind. It forces him back, another Disruptor, but he gets focused down. No way Maru's gonna punch through this. Nightmare 4 so well from behind. He's got more Zealots that went in and just killed another 11 SCVs. Maru has no economy, but he's getting on top of the Robos. There's no Zealots left. The sentries getting EMP'd there did it. It was like the 3rd wave of EMP on the sentries, and the Vikings focusing down the Colossus was just a little bit too much. Maybe Nightmare should have pulled probes into that fight. It was just such a narrow margin. But remember what I said in that previous game? I said this is an unwinnable situation unless you're Maru. And Maru's the one guy who regularly makes comebacks like this against the best players in the world. He's done it versus Dark, Hero. He's done it versus Cure. He's done it versus the best players of all 3 races so many times. Those Zealots do get stuck there. Nightmare's not out of it yet. He's still up 17 workers. If he can just hang on to these 4 bases, he will win this game. But Maru, his army supply is up 20. The only downside is 16 of that is medevacs. It's so much healing and not much else mixed in there as well. Okay, he's got a handful of units. Disruptor is going to throw a zoning shot. Maru's too quick. He sees it coming. I do think Colossus and Immortals are the answer here rather than Disruptors. In small-scale engagements, Disruptors will never land versus Maru. Easier said than done, of course, to get those other units up. I like that he goes very far forward with the Disruptor. He gets a Widow Mine. There's enough medevacs to permanently stim, which gives MARU unlimited micro ability here. Ooh, a few Marines get left behind. The Vikings getting kind of focused, but watch out for the Widow Mine. Disastrous Widow Mine hit there for Nightmare. Nightmare maybe up 17 workers, but MARU has moved his main down to his third. Or actually, no, he hasn't, but he's dropping triple mules. And that makes up for that economic difference, at least a fair bit. Equal upgrades, essentially 1-1 versus 2-2. MARU still trying to make it happen. He's only up 8 army supply. The army supply is looking better and better. The overcharge also really helping out, but remember, that just got used. 60-second cooldown on using that again. The Zealot Stalker goes for it. I love this ambush. He engages him. MARU's not ready. He loses a medevac with a Marauder inside. The Stalkers are focusing down the units while they're damaged. He's not giving time for the medevacs to work. Nightmare will not go down without a fight. We thought MARU had clutched a victory from the jaws of defeat, but Nightmare will not be that man. He is giving MARU hope and then knocking it away. He's making it look very scary, and then he says, no. Yeah, I had you guys worried, didn't I? I had you guys worried. Come on, mate. I'm not going down that easy. He's up in army supply. He's on 4 bases. He's building a few probes as well, which I love. Maintaining a 20 worker advantage. His observer placement has been stellar. This is fantastic. I can't believe it. I don't know if I think I may have had a fugue state last night, guys. I may have sleepwalked and bribed all the players in this tournament to play really close matches. This whole thing might be staged because this is day 3 of the tournament and we had way too many comebacks and close series in matches that were meant to be kind of one-sided. It's been way too high quality. And I'm like, did I get in a coma or something and mind wash myself after bribing everyone? Did I set this whole thing up, mate? MARU's starting to build SCVs. He's floating his command center down to his 3rd base. And Colossus building is such a problem. MARU does not have Vikings. I think the double Colossus is very smart here for Nightmare. He's still adding a battery. Nightmare does need a 5th. The funny thing is, like, you actually need to take a 5th base because it's 19 minutes in. And mains are mined out. Naturals are getting very low. And 3rd bases even will start to mine out in not too long. Nightmare's 3rd will last a long time because remember, this base did get sniped earlier up here. Zealots coming in again. Another 2 SCVs going down. Just keep sending in the Max Pax duo. I don't know what their names are, these 2 Zealots, guys. I feel like we should have named them a while ago. Stabby and McStabby? I don't know. Knifey and Spoony, maybe, the name of the 2 Zealots. But I feel like the 2 Zealot run-bys that Max Pax popularized in this matchup have been very effective. It's a minimal commitment. Max and Pax, not a bad name. Twitch chat's got me there. It's Max and Pax. The 2 Zealot run-by, it's a minimal commitment, but the Terran has to react to it, and it punishes a Terran who hasn't left any defense there. Units coming in on that south side. I think this might be a recall, but no, actually. He's got Colossus, Zealots, and Stalkers there, and his army's ready in the north to intercept. Oh, he catches him! MARU caught with his pants down. He thought the whole army was at home. A few Ghosts and Marauders do go down. Luckily, he does save some of them with the medevacs. Widow Mines get some decent hits on the south. The Zealot Stalkers going in for a big old attack there. Those units, and what's he got? A few Widow Mines. MARU needs to run, or that command center is going to go down. Being very careful and cautious is Nightmare, maybe overly cautious, one could argue. But I understand why. You don't really know what's deeper in this territory. Stalkers are going to blink forward. Zealots are going to go in. Watch out for those Widow Mines. Tries to spread the Zealots. He does take a few nasties, though. Without the Colossus here, this would be a bad time for Nightmare to commit. He's committing anyway. I think this is a really bad fight for Nightmare. Nightmare is over-committing right now. He cannot lose the Colossus. He's going to take out a lot of Zealots, which is good if he drags the game out. But now he needs to run home right now. He cannot be on this side of the map. Nightmare! Not like this, mate! A Colossus does go down already. But MARU may be overstimmed and stretched too thin. The Zealots actually take a pretty good fight. The Colossus are all going to go down. The other Zealots and Stalkers came in from behind. I think Nightmare might have done it anyway. He might have done it. That was a dangerous fight. But he says, dangerous is my middle name, pig. I know how to attack Terrans. You can't play safe in PvT. You got to get in their face and punish them. And that's exactly what I did with this attack. The Marauders run forward and click on the Colossus for the umpteenth time in this series. There have been so many times MARU has just ran his Marauders forward and clicked on a Colossus, but gets the command center, gets the workers down, and Nightmare, the beast that he is, forces a game 5. Holy shizzle fizzle. All right, guys, let's go. We've got Onside Gaming's MARU in the bottom left. A crazy series here, finding himself in game 5 versus Nightmare. Not what he expected, but we are going into Altitude, a large map. A map which could go many different ways. Hard to defend your bases on this map for Nightmare in the top right. I do feel this map can favor Terran, but I think also as Protoss, this map is just, it's designed for Storm. It is designed for Storm. I mean, you gotta play Psystorm. Maru has forgotten how to proxy chat saying. I mean, it worked really well at the start of the series, his whole mind game. But wait, guys, what's he doing? Oh, is this a gas first, was it? Oh, it's a gas first. I was like, why is that orbital late? It's because the barracks is a few seconds late. Yeah, this is a gas first build once again, guys. Into an expand on the high ground. Very conservative play for Maru, just skipping the scout, trying to be more efficient in the early game. But even though Nightmare's like scouting and being kind of paranoid, it's working okay for him. Maru is trying to hide the command center right now. He's waiting for the probe to leave. He's playing mind games. He's playing mind games. So he delayed his command center by an extra 10 to 15 seconds there. But Nightmare didn't see, I don't know. I feel like if I'm Nightmare, I'm just like, yeah. Oh, whoa. He forgot his second pylon. Oh no, Nightmare forgot his second pylon, guys. This is a disaster of an opening. Nightmare is nervous right now, and he is overthinking it. Oh god, he was so busy focusing on that he chronoed a Stalker that couldn't even start. Now, to be fair, he didn't lose much probe production timing, and the Stalker will get out. He builds a panic shield battery because he right now thinks there's like a proxy second barracks or factory out there. He's going to send the probe for it. He's going to make a sentry to get some confirmation, follow-up scouting. It's actually not the end of the world, guys. If the Reaper came across and killed 2 probes, that Stalker being late is very, very bad. In this scenario, it's totally recoverable, but Nightmare needs to stay calm. And if I'm in Game 5 versus Maru, I'm not going to say I would be panicking like someone with a gun pointed to their head, but let's just say I might have a medium to large amount of incontinence. Let's just say I might need to change my pants afterwards because there's going to be things leaking. I'm going to be at least that level of excitement. The Reaper is going to come in and get at least 1 probe. That probe's going to pull away. Good micro by Nightmare. Can he keep it alive though? He's got to pull that probe left and then down to get it out. Oh, shields regen enough to survive for half a second longer. The force field comes down, and it's going to get killed by the Stalker, but that force field was not a good idea, guys. The Reaper was going to die to that Stalker no matter what. That was a panic force field, because now he does not have hallucination. Without hallucination, he doesn't know what's going on. If he can keep this probe alive and see the command center, that will at least tell him, hey, this is a normal game. There's no cheese coming. He's gone Robo 2-gate, which is not a very good style in a normal game. He's going to see the command center in a moment. There we go. Nightmare sees it. He should know what's happening. Hopefully he glanced over there. He's making a Twilight Council now. It's not that bad to go a few observers first. You just need to make sure they don't die to Ravens. Get really good map vision, and then you want to go Storm on 2 base. Remember, I was talking about this style before. Hero really likes this. I think I love it on this map because when Terran goes to take a third, and you can just blitz him with Storm and Zealots and Blink Stalkers. Even if you get your own third base up, you don't want to go past maximum 60 probes, often 52, 55, somewhere in that range. And it's a very powerful style. Now, he doesn't have to play that. He's obviously been very good with Colossus so far, but we'll see what he does. For now, a triple Widow Mine drop comes in. The Stalkers... Oh, God, he's not watching Nightmare! Nightmare, watch out, mate! Oh, okay, only 2 probes on the first Widow Mine. That could have been so much worse. Oh, he may have just gotten a bit lucky there, Nightmare. Tries to go for the unburrow, does Mr. Maru. And you know what? 2 probes. Nightmare getting very lucky there, dude. Whew. Pig should fire himself. Talking about leakage, making a mockery of this tournament. It should be serious. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even put a suit on today. What can I say? I'm not as serious as those football players they stuff into suits that they look so comfortable with while they're casting the football, you know? Oh, Widow Mine drop goes around the back of the natural. Oh, come on. Come on, Nightmare. Oh, he kills it. I like that probe drill. He probe drilled there very nicely, man. Oh, Medevac going back to the left side. Raven's coming around the right. Storm is on the way on 2 base. I like the style, but Mines and Medevacs and Stim Buyer, especially if you're aware of this style, can definitely deal with it. Stalkers are in position. You can't drop auto turrets on top of Stalkers anymore, guys. The Stalkers can just focus it down. It'll kill 1 probe, shouldn't get a second one. And pretty good hold so far. Empty Medevac. I think this might be a scouting Medevac. I think... No, it's an accident. The Observer's in the back, though. Check this out. Nightmare sees everything except the 3rd command center on the natural. It's kind of a bummer he doesn't know about that. But it's a very heavy Marine army, which is not great versus Storm. Auto turret comes in. That's going to get 2 more probes on top of the one that it got earlier. So that's 3 in total for the Raven. 3rd Nexus is on the way. Maru's ahead on the numbers. I feel like this is every Nightmare game ever. I always look at the probe count and I'm like, oh, he's down on workers on the Terran. That's really bad. But I've seen him win a lot of games from it. Oh, Observer sees it. Observer sees the pickup. Does he notice it? Does he notice it? If he moves to the right now with these Stalkers, then we know that Nightmare saw what was happening. I think he's going to go and try and do the feedback. Yeah, I think he's going to feedback it and intercept with Stalkers. And especially if he waits here, you catch the Medivacs in the open space. You don't want to wait down there. You want to wait up here or here, somewhere where there's no dead space to go to. So you can see, yeah, he's trying to intercept right there. Oh, very slick move. And Probe pulls back, forces the Widowmine drop on the Watchtower. That has to hide. Nightmare's doing pretty well right now. He doesn't have Blink, remember, guys. Blink just started. It's just Charge and Storm, and that Raven being annoying. Is it going to be enough? Here we go. Oh, MARU! What? Who reacts that fast? Who reacts that fast? You have no business reacting that quickly. MARU apparently has decided to channel God mode. He just IDD QD'd this late in the game. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Oh my god, he's going to take a big hit. 4 probes and a Stalker go down. Once again, not the end of the world, but because Nightmare's economy is already kind of small, it still hurts a lot. I really feel Nightmare needs to do a round of chronoing probes here. You can tell MARU is afraid of losing this series right now, and he's turtling up. Seeing the 3rd Command Center, seeing these ghosts coming out now, like, you absolutely have got to just, I think, change your style up as Nightmare. Chrono probes off all 3 Nexi. His 3rd has not been building probes for quite a while, and I want to see a Forge as well. The longer he... Oh, he Storm drops. Sorry, guys. Does get a couple Marines, but nothing too much. Doesn't lose any High Templar. He's got 8 High Templar. This whole style is basically, I'm going to bank up an insane amount of energy. When we fight, I'm going to have like 14 Storms. You can EMP 1 or 2 High Templar. As long as I don't clump them all, I'm going to be in an okay spot. But 2 Vikings plus an EMP. Guess what? 4 Viking shots and an EMP will kill a Warp Prism. Oh, slick Storm there. Gets a decent 2nd Storm as well. Pops a bunch of those Marines. Very good. The High Templar on the right did get picked off by those Stim Marines. And oh no, he's going to lose the Prism. Or is he? Or is he? Oh, MARU's trying to punish him, and Nightmare's the one with the punish. Nightmare pulls out his hand, bends MARU's front-running units over his knee, and gives him a good spanking. MARU's macro has been better, though. He has more stuff. Double Forge is just now starting. The Zealots trying to come forward. Those Widow Mines, oh, they're so scary. The High Templar coming in from the left. They're going to try and come forward, and they will hold the army back for a moment, but they're clumped. They're clumped. The EMPs do get dodged. But for how long? MARU does get his Raven feedback, but he does Interference Matrix the Prism in time, and that means you can't really move the Psystorm to the right side very easily. MARU's forcing him into the open ground for this engagement. Oh, MARU wants this series. Nightmare's made it very close, but MARU's supply is daunting. Where is the Psystorm? He's got 1 left in the Prism, but that Prism goes down. There is still 2 Storms coming in, but they're coming in from far behind, and remember, oh, great Storm. MARU just needs to back off. He's miles ahead in the macro in this game. He's taken some good trades. He's just got to be careful to not lose his whole army to Psystorm. The Stalkers. Oh, Blink is ready. He's going to take out the Medivacs, is he? The full Medivac gets away. MARU gets away with murder there. Stayed a bit too long, but he gets away with it. And guess what? He's got a 4th on the way. He is up 8 workers. MARU dancing on the edge of death. And honestly, I don't know if Nightmare could have taken those down, but there's no way MARU could have known that he couldn't. That was MARU being a tightrope walker. That was a man walking across a pit of lava on those little bits of string the guys do, you know, when they're walking across like a river or something, and you're like, oh, those guys are kind of daredevils. MARU does that over a spiked pit with other Terrans impaled on those spikes below him. And he goes, yeah, it's fine. I'll do it. It's all good. Widowmine drop moving to the top left. 4th Command Center, 3 more barracks on the way. MARU is going to engage late game, and that is incredibly scary for the Protoss. The 1-1's coming in for Protoss, but the Armory is going to be finishing soon. 2-2 will start. Widowmine drops coming in. Cannon is on the way, but it's not just ready. Nightmare's responses have been pretty darn good, though. Spreads the probes, gets a few Stalker warp-ins. MARU's going to probe the right side with an army. These guys could come in from behind. Nightmare, though, saw the army walk past him. He's reacting a little slow here. Don't think he has any High Templar there. Max, Pax, and Reginald joins Max and Pax for the Zealot run by on the 3rd base of MARU. You cannot be losing this 4th base right now. Don't think he has any Psystorm, though. Oh, wait, there we go. Prism with the Storm from in front. Archon Storm from behind. Massive Storms. Massive, massive Storms. Once again, he gets both empty Medivacs, not the full one. MARU apparently tipped off Lady Luck today, because that could have gone terribly. If he lost all those units, that would have been an amazing trade for Nightmare. As it is, it was still a good trade for Nightmare. The supply is dead even. If he goes for 2-2 now, he can continue his upgrades. He's chronoed, but he didn't seem to have the minerals for 2-2 when he started it. Hopefully Nightmare realizes that and does begin. He's got 2 Colossus, extended Thermal Lance to get a bit of the Viagra for those Colossi coming in. 2-2 if he starts it. I mean, he's slowing down MARU's momentum so well with that hold. The army coming in from behind was actually such a cool move. And MARU, I mean, he's got 4 bases. He's got a good economy. He's up on 8 racks. But he's just started +2. I didn't realize he didn't have +1 armor yet. That was actually very slow to start. He's coming in with a medevac drop on the top left. Another mine drop. Cannon will not clean that up instantly. So he's trying to distract on the right to get Nightmare's attention. And it looks like it's worked. Yeah, he's going to get a good volley off. Very well done. 11 probes go down. Nightmare's at a pretty good economy, so he can replace that. You know, 11 probes this deep in the game is not the end of the world. The Zealot run by is going to continue, but with Widow Mines scattered across the map and sensor towers, you can see MARU starting to lock this ship down tight. He does not want to let the Protoss start to find free damage. Great observer placement for Nightmare, by the way. He's got good vision over this central area. It's the only observer on the map. He's building more, though. And this is a big mistake Protoss players make, is they get to late game, and they're so focused on building robo units, they don't make observers, and because of that, they take the wrong engagements. But Nightmare, very diligent and focused on that, and he finally realizes the 2-2 didn't start before, so about time he fixed that up. Big gas bank for Nightmare in this game. He's going to be looking for a 5th base, probably down here on the right side, I would imagine. And he still doesn't have the craziest map control, but MARU's moving around with very small armies that could get blinked on and punished. It's the Widow Mines that are making it kind of hard for Nightmare to make that decision, though. Ship weapons coming in. There's still only 1 starport for MARU, but I think with the extra commands in his building, there's a big indication that MARU's thinking about a Liberator transition. Good blink micro there, pulling back from the EMPs. Nicely done. Probe goes down on the left side. That Marauder hit squad could do very well. On the right side, a few of MARU's units getting shaved off for just a few Zealots. And Nightmare realizes he's got a much bigger army on this side. Blinks forward and just kills the Widow Mine before it can fire. A scattering of High Templar and Stalkers, not something you want to engage into. I love how good the setup is, man. I just, for the longest time, Nightmare, I thought had issues with his macro and his probe production. But he's so bloody well-rounded these days. And he's always been a very, very good player. It just feels like when you play against someone like MARU, you're not meant to be able to display those skills because he's just that little bit better at everything, and he's meant to make his opponents look worse, and often he does. And you can argue Game 1 and Game 2 looked that way, but keep in mind, Nightmare had a terrible opening in both of those games. He took some small gambles, and they went very poorly for him. Those I guess it was a pretty big gamble when he skipped the Observer, and the Banshee killed like a ton of workers, but he started those games from behind. And people who were, I was like, oh, this kind of sucks because he'll be demotivated, and he'll play worse, and oh, High Templar! Unfortunately, not watching them. Random High Templar on the map like that, if you notice them coming and storm all over the army, can get massive value. But the Widow Mines are getting too much value right now, I would say, for MARU. Let's look at the vision of Nightmare. He sees everything. He's got observers everywhere right now. He's got watchtowers, he's got Zealot run base coming in. Let's go to MARU's vision on the other hand, and you can see his mini-map. Not too bad. Got extra orbitals coming up right now. He's scanning this army on the right. This game's going late game. It's 2-2 versus 2-1 right now in favor of Nightmare. 3-2 is on the way, though. 2 more starports and a fusion core. So we're going to see a big range Liberator transition. Nightmare needs to make a play before we get to that point. He's been defending for so long, and now he needs to do the hardest part of PvT, which is defend for 15 minutes and then find a way to attack before the range Liberators get out. But don't just get surrounded by Marauders. Don't get hit in the face by EMPs and throw your units away. There's not many Vikings here. I do think you could definitely take the fight, but that Widow Mine recharging again. He needs an Observer here. That Observer just needs to unsiege, move to the right, and he needs to start clearing these Widow Mines up on this map because they are giving way too much value to MARU, and they're not being dealt with. Oh, comes in with a Ghost on that left side as well. Looks like all the High Templar got pulled. There are still 5 High Templar on the map right now. Oh, that's a very good micro, man. This is problematic. There's only 8 gateways on this map. Rainer out there is like, where are your gateways, man? You should have 26 gateways by now. Nightmare, though, has been on a budget this whole time. He's trying to go double Disruptor and Dark Templar Tech and 3-3. He's trying to catch up on all those details. And that's a very heavy investment. It takes a while to pay off. Definitely does need more gateways, though. At least 4 or 5 more gateways. You want to be at least at 12 or 13 this deep in the game. It feels like he's sitting back for too long. If Max, I think, is the best PvT player in the world right now, guys. I know Classic had a great showing at Gamers 8, but outside of that, Max has been the most consistent. And honestly, what makes him so special is his ability to counterattack with an army that looks weaker than the Terran and get map control. Nightmare hasn't been able to do that just yet, and Maru's starting to bully him a little bit in this late game. MARU is so confident this stage of the game. A couple Zealots run in. They'll try to take out a few SCVs, which is nice. Cannon finally building up there as well. Zealots are going to kill a few SCVs, but the planetary will eventually finish, and MARU is up to how many orbitals? 4 orbital command centers, and he's building a lot more right now, which will probably be going that way. He's also making a nuke, so nuke fans out, they get excited. Now with this, you want to shift click your zealots on their SCVs. Just 2 or 3 zealots shift clicked on the SCVs will do really great. Just A moving like this is free easy kills for MARU. There we go, he finally does that micro. Stalker will get taken out by landed Vikings on the tower. 14 SCVs ain't bad. He does actually damage the planetary a little bit as well. No building armor upgrade just yet, so zealots are still decent versus planetaries. Building armor massively reduces their effectiveness. Oh, the High Templar goes down. That Widow Mine still causing problems on this right side. Finally, it goes down. But the Libs are here. When Libs are sieged on your front door, you are in trouble. The Ghost goes for a nuke and instantly gets hit in the face by a Disruptor. That's a lot of balls. Oh my god, MARU tries to shove into the Disruptor. The way MARU attacks into Nightmare is so crazy. Like, it's such a risky thing. He just shoves. He keeps trying to, like, really scare Nightmare and shock him and jolt him into making mistakes. But you can tell Nightmare's setting up for a pretty delicious surround right now. Mass Stalker coming in from the left, the right, the balls as well. Can he land some storms? 1 or 2 storms, and they would be big, but the Disruptor, the EMP's landed on them. The Stalkers are taking out the Libs, but fighting into Lib zones does heavily favor Terran. And notice, sorry guys, bad observing for me, the Disruptors all were not able to connect. The bio shifted left. The Disruptors needed to be on both sides. If Disruptors were on the left as well, I think the Marauders would have got sandwiched. They would have had nowhere to run but backwards. But instead, it ends up being a decent fight. Double Storm does land and keep him at bay for now. 70 probes versus 60 SCVs. There are now 6 orbitals though. MARU has built maybe not the full Iron Bank, but not too far from it. He has a lot of mules dropping, a lot of scans available. And he shouldn't really be fighting right now. MARU's just fighting for map control. He's kind of skirmishing to keep the Protoss back, which is a good idea. 6 medevacs out, going to slowly heal these units up. It is 3-3 versus 3-3 on the upgrades. Blink DT is done, and actually Nightmare somehow squeezed a wave of Dark Templar, and I don't know when he afforded that, because that seems kind of crazy. Disruptor Stalker just fighting for map control there. What's he going to do? Dive on the third? There's no turrets here. There's no turrets here! Oh, I'd love to see him split into the bases. If he gets a Dark Templar in that base, a Dark Templar in this base, and a Dark Templar here and there, he'd be great, but he's going straight for the production. Missed opportunity for Nightmare. He does lose a Disruptor there to the Liberators. Dark Templar going to go after the production. Looks like the add-ons are one of his big targets and just kind of wreaking havoc over there. This is going to buy Nightmare a lot of time. He's taking the top left base. He's kind of reprobing up a little bit. These Dark Templar are going to chase those Ghosts and go down. He's killing a few barracks in the main, which is nice. He's going to push the right side. Looks like the Stalkers blinked forward, and a lot of them did die, though. I'm not sure if he hit them with his own Disruptor shot or not, guys. He lost 47 Stalkers this game. That is so many. And I feel like his supply just dropped a lot as well. Obviously, he wants to try to get rid of the Liberators as well. Getting the Starports could be big, guys, as a really tactical target, because those are always in short supply Starport production. But all 3 Starports are still alive. Trying to push forward here, not a bad idea. He does need to make sure he deals with that Widow Mine, though. This army is so fragile. There's 13 Liberators. The only defense against the Libs at this point is keeping them on Maru's side of the map, sieged up and abusing their immobility. There's still a Dark Templar in there going after at least one of these Starports. He's going to go after the Planetary in the bottom right, maybe? And that could work out. Oh yeah, he's going to blink on it. He can take it out. That Planetary goes down. The Libs running to the right. MARU was busy with the Dark Templar. His ground army is actually very weak right now, guys. He lost most of his barracks. He's got 6 barracks with very few add-ons. He's only got 1 Ghost in production. MARU is building SCVs right now, but no bio. Except a few Ghosts. Just a few Ghosts building. And a Liberator gets cleaned up on the right side after getting a few probe kills. Nightmare still on 67 workers. Not much bank to work with for Nightmare, but he's making this surprisingly close in the late game. He's looking for the big positional mistake from MARU. MARU hasn't made it yet, but he might be about to. There's no bio! The observers saw that there was no bio left, that it all moved to the top left. MARU's going to engage in a base trade, but Nightmare is the first one to initiate, and Dark Templar, for instance, and Disruptors are going to cause big problems in this scenario. There's only 2 Robos. Stalker's taking out all of the orbitals right now, as well as these Planetaries. Dark Templar running on that left. The scan comes in. The Zealots start to go down. The Dark Templar should be able to overpower that repair, and they do! He's losing all of his economy right now. That being said, Nightmare's going to lose a lot of probes as well. Will he be able to breach the production? Right now, MARU has nothing defending his production, but he's got a lot of Libs building, and honestly, you don't need to break the production. You just need to break the orbitals, and your Dark Templar will do the rest. Ghosts are annoying, but manually EMPing them is not that easy. He's got a lot of Disruptors here as well. Oh, first Disruptor could have been focused by MARU, but he backs off, and Nightmare pounces. Good call for him, but the Libs, man, they're going to destroy the Stalkers while Blink's off cooldown. Oh no, get out of there, Nightmare. Okay, Nightmare, he's warped in some units at home. He's going to throw a Disruptor shot. MARU not watching, takes a big ball to the face. Nightmare teabagging one of the greatest players of all time. Not something you see every day. Gets a Marauder, does clip a few of his own probes, no big problem. He's got a High Templar here as well. Guys, any High Templar he makes are game changers in this late game scenario. The tank's going to go down. The Disruptor does take out a Zealot and a Stalker. Nightmare, calm down, mate. Don't friendly fire too much. The Robos are down. Dude, this game is so close right now. Army supply is ahead for MARU. His production is still alive. He gets a few Stalkers. I love that Lib re-siege on that base. Catches him not looking. He's got so many Ghosts that I was like, DTs will do the rest for you. Wait, there's only 4? There's only 4 Ghosts left in the army, guys. Which means actually that's going to be hard to deal with. I mean, to be fair, there's 10 range libs, which is a massive problem for a player with 1 Stalker right now and only a few gates of production. He's trying to rebuild gateways and warp in Stalkers as much as he can. Stalkers are just so fragile. Dark Templar going to try and take out another orbital. MARU does lift in time. How many orbitals has he got left? That is 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the main base. Very important to keep those scans alive. I actually think MARU has the better army. He's up 20 supply in it, and the range libs is still such a problem. It's all about the positioning, and maybe if he can get rid of these orbitals, Nightmare has a win condition with the Dark Templar. He's still got 7 Disruptors as well. If he can catch those libs on siege, that'll be great. Only 1 Observer is unfortunate for him as well. But Marauder's in the open. Great opportunity for Nightmare to shave down those unit numbers. He's going to go for it. He throws the balls. But the Liberators, revenge of the Liberators. Freedom! MARU shouts as his Liberators rain down their Concord cannons upon the poor, destitute Protoss. The orbitals did all lift and survive. The Dark Templar backstab as well. MARU's Liberators are looking savage. They need to get caught, but oh my god, he finds Nightmare's balls hanging out. Oh no! Oh no! Punished. 2 Disruptors go down. Nightmare has fought like an absolute beast. The massive underdog. He was given a 3% chance to win this series, and he's turning into a very close base trade. He's still got a base mining on the right, guys. He's still got 2 gateways powered in the back, as well as a Robo Bay, another gateway powered in the back of his base. MARU has no income. And he does. And DTs are actually killing tech right now. They're killing the armory to try to reveal the Widow Mines. If he can make some more Stalkers, you know, he can do it. Where are the High Templar? He's got 1 there, 1 there. There are 3 Ghosts. I think maybe an Observer just got killed or something like that. Watch out for the scans. Watch out for the Ghosts. Oh, the Stalkers are going to go for it. I like the Storm on the Liberators, but he just got his High Templar EMP'd. So he just lost his anti-air splash damage. High Templar pulling back. More Stalkers trying to warp in. He's got layers of shield batteries he's trying to fight with. My god, the Liberators are just going to jam it in. Absolute savagery from MARU. The Disruptors and Stalkers getting pushed back. There's just too many Liberators. 7 Liberators with +3 attack. And as I said, Freedom happens to smell a lot like napalm today. Terran coming in just with savage vengeance. Nightmare needs to run. He needs to give this base up. But this is his last bit of production. He doesn't want to give it up. And it feels like this may be the end. There's still 6 Dark Templar on this map. The Nightmare, though, what's he got left to work with? 1 High Templar with no energy. Dark Templar are going to try to go in 1 at a time. There are still 3 orbitals, though. And scans plus EMPs a little bit too much. Drip feeding those in will not get it done. There is a Nexus up there. You can try to hide these probes. Recall? He's got a recall. He's got a recall. But he's out of energy, and he's actually used the recall already. The last probe's getting trapped. Man, Nightmare made this so insanely close, dude. He made it so insanely close. But the Liberators are so good at this stage of the game. If you let a Terran build, what was it, 8 orbitals, 3 starport fusion core libs, Nightmare just needed to get out on the map a little bit earlier after he defended up to 4 and 5 base. I think he could have pushed against MARU, got map control earlier, but the moment MARU set up that first lib push and traded as well as he did, he got himself a massive advantage. The fact that Nightmare made it this close after that is insane, but he is really working with dregs. MARU's income is still nothing. He's actually remade a pretty impressive Stalker army here, and he's got that 1 High Templar, which is looking for the Hail Mary Storm, especially if he gets it in the middle of the libs. It'll be such a difference maker. But of course, 2 Marauders and a Marine, they have their eyes set on the prize. They dive forwards. The High Templar desperately running away. Stalker's coming in for a flanky flank right now. He's going to take out a couple of these units, and he will blink to the right side. Good micro there for Nightmare. He's still got a little bit of production. Unfortunately, no mining left. And that is where the problem lies. Maybe he should have kept dripping Dark Templar into the main. Might have been the play to get those orbitals lifted, and that's where the Dark Templar could have done it. There are still 2 Ghosts, though, with decent energy, and we can see that MARU is doing an excellent job of handling it. Just very well played, dude. This was such a good series, and I can't believe Nightmare played such a frigging amazing, almost reversal. If he actually completes the reversal here, which obviously very unlikely now, he's got no money. I don't know how you win with 12 Stalkers and 1 Dark Templar. But if he'd done it, this would have been one of the most legendary comebacks, because the context of, you know, 15th seed into the tournament versus number 2 seed, greatest TvP player of all time, versus a player who's very high level, but, you know, you put him in the context of facing MARU, and you have to be a madman to bet on him with even odds, and yet Nightmare has made this a very competitive match. He's played it incredibly well, and he's really pushed MARU to the very limit of his capabilities. Tries to do some slick Stalker micro, but you can see there's just no way. Those libs do too much, and Nightmare, an amazing series from the underdog. MARU at the end stabilizes though, and he says, oh, thank God, I did not let this one slip away. Great, just solid ability to stay strong in the face of adversity. MARU holds on.